Happy New Year, guys. I hope it's been a good one. Now, don't buy 100% equity in a business unless you do what I explain in this video. Just don't do it. Buying 100% equity from a retiring business owner within just a few months of meeting is all too often a fool's errand that's likely to result in disaster for both you and them. Sure, on some rare occasions, it's a great idea. But most of the time, you're buying a train wreck. So you need to avoid acquiring equity too quickly. Now, what I'm about to tell you is going to probably piss off some of the so-called business buying gurus who will be telling you the complete opposite of what I'm about to go through. But then again, I only bought my first business 30 years ago. What do I know? The facts need to be told because too many lives are completely ruined by the current BS that is failing most buyers and sellers. The system being sold by these gurus tends to work, and it works really, really well, for businesses with revenues over 20 million. But the system tends to be a disaster, just waiting to happen for 95% of acquisitions under £5 million. And the gurus will never tell you that. Every day, I speak with new business buyers and mature ones. And I'm quite horrified at the businesses that they are willing to buy using debt of one form or another, or investor capital. I'm also astonished at the number of businesses that buyers meet where they fail to acquire the business, all because of their aggressive approach of let me buy your business stance, which is BS in the sub £10 million market. Because it just doesn't work in that marketplace. Now, let's face it, the sale of a small business is an emotional game. It's not just about the numbers. And most buyers barge in with the sell me your business approach, asking, being very aggressive about it. This seldom works unless the seller is desperate, and then you don't want to be buying that anyway. Most sub £5 million business revenue businesses are a mess and should not be acquired in their current state without undertaking considerable amounts of work in advance to de-risk the business. Why, you would ask? Surely you can buy it cheaper. Don't buy things cheap. Because the previous owners are the business in most circumstances, and you cannot buy what's in their heads. Most of their systems they operate the business with are in here only. And if this is the case, don't buy the business. Even if you're doing 100% seller finance or you're only paying £1 for it. As I've done this. Let's say the lead sourcing system often don't exist outside what's in here. And they tend to be inconsistent and outdated. You need to fix that. The lead conversion process is another system that's seldom written down in SOPs or any other system. It is often hopelessly out of date and lacks consistency. Their finance functions seldom exist. No management accounts, no reporting, out-of-date systems, which means that once you acquire the business, you are flying blind. That's not good. Please don't buy a business where the systems are in the head of the owner or their close team, because no one wins in that form of deal. Many will tell you that all you need to do is retain the owner for 6 to 12 months so that they're able to transfer what they know to you, the new owners. But this seldom works well. It certainly doesn't work well in practice that I've ever found, ever, 30 years. If you give the owners some money and you take over the business, most owners mentally check out the day you hand over the keys. They often lose their motivation to help the new owners, no matter what they've told you leading up to this point. If the owners are suffering from ill health, this makes matters worse for everyone, and it never works out. Now, partnering for equity is an alternative strategy with far lower risks for everyone. There's a higher chance the business will succeed post-sale. You're likely to land more deals and your life is going to be much, much easier. And again, we call this strategy partnering for equity. Partnering for equity. This is where you agree to spend circa a year working with the owners to fix the issues before you acquire the business. For the first couple of months, just take a modest retainer from them, plus a proportion of the extra revenue you bring into the business. Fixing the marketing and sales systems should be able to start fixing the issues overnight, because they're always the marketing and sales systems. Now, after proving yourself to the current owners, this builds up their trust in you. And the current owners can prove that they have a business worth acquiring. Now, at this point, 2 or 3 months in, take a 15, 20%, maybe 30% equity stake for the improvements you have made to that business. They should agree to this because the value is probably shot up and the risks reduced. Business is easier. They've probably also started to rely upon you a great deal. Often, you'll become the son they never had. Sure, this is a minority stake, but can use safeguards to protect yourself. For example, Jeff Bezos only owns 10% of Amazon. Mark Zuckerberg only owns 16% of Meta. Do you see them complaining about it? You don't need to own over 50% to build your wealth. You simply don't. That's just the man down the pub speaking. Now, whilst you've been helping this business, you can find others in the same sector. Do the same for them. Then you can have 3, 4, 5, 6 other businesses within a year that you've under your partnering for equity deal. They're easier to find. You don't need to raise the money. You just find them. Bad news is, it's not really bad news, but once you've fixed these systems, the old owners may no longer wish to sell the business to you. Well, because you've fixed all the issues that plague them ultimately. But the good news is, you're an equity player within that business without any debt. None. Okay? Given that you've saved their lives, most of these owners will eventually sell the rest of their shares to you anyway. Or they could agree to buy your shares from you. Now they've got some value associated with them. There is a risk that some owners could go a little rogue and treat you badly. We have ways to protect you from this situation. And, you can always take out all the systems you put in the first place. Marketing systems, sales systems, just remove them all. But this is an unlikely scenario. Now, you could then rinse and repeat this strategy. And you should be able to collect maybe 6 or more viable, profitable businesses without borrowing any money. And more importantly, you've not had to try and fix a train wreck with an absent owner, which is almost impossible to do. Now, if you want to know how to acquire 20% equity in 5 to 10 companies over the next couple of years, drop me a DM. It's certainly worth investigating.